He is 10th in missed tackles forced per attempt and also yards after contact per attempt and 4th in yards before contact per attempt. So by the data and even the old eyeball test running the rock, he is significantly better than Rachaad White. Let's take a look here, starting right at the top. And I tried to narrow everything down here. I'm looking for needle movers, not really fill-in starters. I should mention to that point, Juwan Jennings should be on the list for the short term, but he's not on the list. But we could put him on there mentally if you're looking for someone like now, this week. The problem there is, he'll probably eventually move back to a secondary role with Deebo Samuel back and Georgie Kittle. But man, Bucky Irving, in full disclosure, I was a big Rachaad White person. I loved him at the Senior Bowl. I loved meeting him and interviewing him at the Combine. He's a great guy. We did get it right last year, but I never said he was an absolute stallion. And he is just having some troubles where Bucky Irving is getting it done. He's only owned in 35% of Yahoo leagues among 41 running backs with at least 41 carries. Irving right now is 7th. With at least 40, I believe, is 7th in explosive run percentage. He is 10th in missed tackles forced per attempt and also yards after contact per attempt and 4th in yards before contact per attempt. So by the data and even the old eyeball test running the rock, he is significantly better than Rachaad White. Now, I don't know if he's ever going to completely usurp White in terms of the early down work. Sure as hell isn't going to do that on passing downs because White has some of the best hands I've ever seen on a running back. But Rachaad White himself told me last year that he bulked up and he was smart to do that because he took a pounding last year and he kept on coming. But I really do believe that it's robbed him of a little bit of his explosiveness. Number 2 on the list here, my guy. I'm the only fantasy analyst in America who has backed Darnell Mooney over the last couple of years. And one of the reasons he's my guy is I just think he's generally underrated. He has been totally destroyed over the last 2 years by horrible quarterback play. And lo and behold, though, I was back on him this year, only owned in 26% of Yahoo leagues, despite that scary week 1 performance by Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, lobbied for Mooney to get signed by the Falcons. Mooney is 23rd in yards per route run, and he's running a route on over 90% of the routes. So he's a full-time player. He's out there. He's loving every minute of it with Kirky Cousins. And by the way, Kyle Pitts is still soft. So I think Drake London's looking really good in this offense, and so is Darnell Mooney. He's in like the Jordan Addison role, if you will, for Kirky Cousins. Sam Darnold, speaking of Addison and the Vikings, next up here, 3rd in fantasy points per drop back, 9th in completion percentage over expectation. He does have some tougher matchups upcoming, but look out. If he gets Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson back, if in a month Darnold is still balling and he has Hawkinson and Addison, look out. Again, look out because it's going to go well. It's going to go well as it's gone thus far. And then, not to be Viking-centric here, but they are the hottest team in the NFL right now at 3-0, and Jalen Nailor is balling. 4th best average separation score in the National Football League through 3 weeks. He's also 15th in the league with .106 first downs per route run. So that means that the targets will continue coming to Jalen Nailor. And even if they get Addison back, like they can support 3 receivers. Even 4. I mean, they are a big, throw over expectation team, basically. Geno Smith comes in next on my list. I'm very proud of myself. Last week, I ranked him over Derek Carr. I did not fall for the banana in the tailpipe, a.k.a. Derek Carr. Well, I did fall for it a little bit, but not ranking him over Geno Smith, who has got 616 passing yards thus far. Very, very strong foursome at receiver with Noah Fant. And then, of course, Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf. And despite having the 4th worst pressure rate, Geno is dealing with the 3rd best completion percentage over expectation, the 2nd best adjusted completion percentage. And if his O-line improves, look out. And then my contention, my little soapbox item this week is the new age quarterback that the NFL kind of made a deal with the devil with by adopting them and not making them adjust to their pro game. Well, these guys stink throwing the football generally. So it's not a surprise that, oh, wait, how did Andy Dalton do so well? You know why? Because he's a good quarterback. He's a signal caller. He reads his progressions. He understands defenses. He knows what he's looking at out there, just like Geno Smith, who is a pocket quarterback. So I think he's going to continue to produce, quite frankly. Cole Kmet comes in next, even though his quarterback is one of those new age guys. But Caleb Williams is feeling the heat, and he saw a promising 81% of the snaps last week. Like I said, I kind of nailed this one last week, thinking it through, looking at the matchup. And I think that Caleb Williams is quickly learning that a reliable tight end in the middle of the field can be his best friend, and that Gerald Everett is a career underachiever. Moving on to Justin Fields, as I mentioned so far, shockingly, 4th out of 35 in catchable throw percentage. He is 5th in adjusted completion percentage. He's got a pretty solid schedule upcoming as well. Colts, Cowboys, Raiders, Jets. That's not that great, Jets. But Fields' former teammate is next up on my list, Roschon Johnson. He's been kind of messed with the coaching staff. I don't get what they're looking at here. I've met Roschon Johnson. He's a very serious young man. I don't know. He's not goofing off, falling asleep in meetings. I can pretty much tell you that with some confidence, but I don't know what is going on, but I do know this. DeAndre Swift stinks. Among 34 players with at least 25 attempts, Swift is 32nd in missed tackles forced per attempt. He is dead last with 1.43 yards after contact per attempt. I know they're paying Swift some money, but, man, we got to get Roschon Johnson in there because he's a better pass protector than Swift. He's a good receiver, and I think he's a better short yardage guy. Also, DeMario Douglas from Michael Cohen's New England Patriots. He called for the ball going into week 3, and he got it. I think that Jalen Polk actually looks pretty good, but Douglas had a team best 7/69 on 9 targets, 34.6% target share, 83% snap share. I know they spread the ball around a little bit, but I do think that Douglas needs to be kind of like give you something to hang your hat on at receiver. You can't really do that with Hunter Henry at tight end, unfortunately. And then speaking of tight ends, my guy, and I was panicking about Tyler Conklin, who was only owned in 14% of Yahoo leagues. And I don't think we're out of the woods yet. He is a little bit of a take what the defense gives you type of player, but the defenses are trying to take Garrett Wilson out. He was last week at tight end, 7th in targets, 6th in catches, 3rd in yardage for week number 3, and he was your tight end 4.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at 0 cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.